Hey guys, my name is Sandy-Kaye. I have a 14-month-old son and I am currently 4 months pregnant. And with my first son, for some background, it took 10 months to get pregnant with him. And so the second time around, while breastfeeding him, I was a little nervous while trying to conceive. So these are the type of videos that I was looking for. And so I'm really hoping to help you guys out with my 6 big tips to trying to conceive while you're breastfeeding. And those are looking at reducing your breastfeeding. Second, looking at your nutrition. Third, supplementation. Fourth, looking at your fitness and activity level. 5, using OPKs and looking at the timing of your baby dancing. And then my final 6th tip is to just have fun and try to enjoy the process, which I know can be easier said than done. I also did want to mention, obviously I am not a dietitian or a doctor, so you should go to your own midwife or doctor or whoever you see for nutrition for advice for you and your personal needs. I do have some background in exercise and nutrition, but by no means am I telling you what you should do. You should do your own research and definitely talk to your own doctor. And with that said, this is going to be a little bit of a lengthier video, so I hope you'll stick with me till the end. The list of the 6 are not in any particular order, so let's dive right in. So let's dive into the first one, which is reducing breastfeeding. I know this can kind of be a scary one for a lot of moms, and I know I didn't want to significantly reduce my son's nutrition, but I also had the A-OK from the pediatrician. By his 6-month checkup, he was, meeting his growth chart, and it was looking fine to do some sleep training at that point, and also doing some night weaning. So we actually stopped breastfeeding throughout the night, and so we went from about 7:30 p.m. to 7 a.m. without breastfeeding, and then during the day I was breastfeeding about 3 to 5 times per day. But I think that reduction of breastfeeding definitely helped. Now obviously if your son or daughter is earlier than 6 months, and not having nutrition from solids as well, then you really want to consider cutting down on food, since you're their main food source for nutrition and for their health. So definitely talk to your pediatrician on that. So again, I think stopping breastfeeding at nighttime and night weaning my son definitely helped my period return, because at 6 months postpartum, that's when we sleep trained and stopped breastfeeding throughout the night, and then 2 months later at 8 months postpartum, I got my period back. So that played a vital role in that. So number 2 would be looking at nutrition. So trying our best to, obviously water is so important, getting enough water, but also something that I just did daily to help me get my nutrition met was have a protein shake in the morning with spinach, berries. I put my own kefir that I fermented at home that just has good probiotics in it, but taking a probiotic supplement would also help. And I had this is a good clean protein powder that I like to use, the Orgain protein powder, and you can just get it from Costco. So I liked putting that in it. And then something else that I found super helpful is 1 tablespoon of flaxseed, 1 tablespoon of hemp seed, and 1 tablespoon of chia seed. And so I put 1 tablespoon of each of those seeds in my smoothie every morning, and I did notice a difference. And if you're interested in that and the science kind of behind that, you can look into seed cycling for fertility. So look that up if you're interested. And then also keeping in mind that if you're not eating enough, then you're sending the signal to your body that you don't have enough energy to make milk and to grow a baby. So you want to just keep in mind that you are eating enough calories to sustain your baby that you're breastfeeding, and also to let your body know, hey, I am ready for creating another baby too. And the kind of diet that I followed, I didn't follow one particular diet, but I would say it was most like the Mediterranean-like diet, where it was prioritizing fruits and vegetables and then limiting red meats. I at least did that like the last month before I conceived, just really tuning in on my nutrition. And so I think that made a big difference. All right, so let's talk about supplementation. Before trying to conceive my second baby, I was already taking a few supplements. So I was already taking a prenatal with folate in it and DHA, and this is just the Nature Made one. It's very affordable on Amazon. And then I was taking vitamin D3. This one's 5,000 IU. And then I was taking a probiotic. And I vary the probiotic that I take, but that was the one that I was taking at the time. And then I also upped my prenatal vitamin to a very high quality one. It was by Modern Fertility. I finished them. It was only like a 2-month supply or whatever. So I finished those the month before I conceived. I was taking just a higher prenatal vitamin, and I think that does make a difference. I don't think you have to throughout your whole pregnancy, just as folate and DHA are like the main important things that you want in your vitamin. But when trying to conceive, I do see the benefit of upping the quality of that prenatal. And then also you're wanting to look at your luteal phase, or your LP, which is the second half of your menstrual cycle. And that's going to be really important. If it's like too short, then that's the time when your uterus is preparing for pregnancy and your uterine lining is thickening. So if it's shedding too quickly, then it can't be sustainable for a pregnancy. So if it's 10 days or less, then you're definitely going to want to look at a few things, how you can lengthen it. And how I did that and found it successful, just like the next cycle, I went from having, let's see, I was probably around 8 months postpartum when I was having a 4-day luteal phase. And then the next cycle, I was able to go to a 14-day luteal phase. And I did that through taking 500 milligrams of vitamin C, 100 milligrams of vitamin B6, and then some type of Vitex, but this has it, the Conception by this company. And I only took this one, the Conception pills, one pill every other day, because in past times of using it, it like really lengthened my cycle and seemed to really whack me out. So I didn't take the recommended dose, just one every other day. And then for the B6 and the vitamin C, just took one of those per day, per what it says on the back, which is 1 tablet. So I really did notice a huge difference taking those. So if you're also having a shortened luteal phase, definitely do your own research and look into why I was taking those. I'm not going to go into all the science and how it helps with your hormones and everything balance out, but you can definitely do your research and look into those. So the fourth thing that I wanted to talk about is fitness. I just enjoy being active for my mental health, and it just feels good for my body to move each day. I try and work out 5 times a week, and I would just suggest, if you have a super strict, like high intensity workout routine right now, maybe lowering the intensity a little bit right now while you're trying to conceive and breastfeeding, because again, you're trying to tell the message to your body of, I have enough energy to have a baby and also feed my other baby. So keep that in mind, but I would say just anything to keep your body moving, even if it's walking a few times a week, could definitely help. All right, and my fifth thing is OPKs, or ovulation predictor kits, and baby dancing. The first time around with my son, I was using Easy at Home ovulation strips. They kind of look like that. And they come in like a huge box of like 50 to 100, so a ton of them. And so they're really nice. You don't feel bad using a bunch of them because they're cheaper. But one of the biggest things that made a difference is these clear blue ovulation kits. For a long time, like, I never bought them trying to conceive with my first son, and it took us 10 months to get pregnant with him. And I think these really could have been a game changer. So they come with, this box comes with 20 of them, and I think I still have about 7 strips left in here. So I didn't even use the whole box before I came pregnant. But there's just like a little port thing, and you can stick it in, and then it will, on this little digital screen, be a smiley face for your peak days. And if it's an empty circle, then it means it's not a peak day, you're not fertile. So it just kind of takes the guessing work out of it. And so what I would recommend if you want to save some money is start out with a 20-piece kit of these Better Clear Blue ovulation kits. But also I did love the Easy at Home too, so you could take more of them. And so I would be taking the Easy at Home test, and as I started to see it get a little darker, then that's when I would test with the Clear Blue. And I'd also be looking at my cervical mucus, or CM, to see, because you know the egg white CM is what you're looking for. That's the fertile CM to help the sperm meet the egg. And if you're wondering about how to track all that, one book that I totally recommend is Taking Charge of Your Fertility. You can tell I read and bookmarked the things that I liked, but that just talks about like the 3 fertility signs of looking at your basal body temperature, taking that in the morning, and looking at your cervical mucus, and then your cervical positioning. And then there's a few other things that you can kind of note just as like other signs that could help you identify when you're fertile. And I was charting and looking at my basal body temperature, and it kind of started to stress me out. So it was actually the month that I kind of stopped doing the basal body temperature and just kind of noticing my cervical mucus, but mostly just relying on the Clear Blue test and the smiley face is when we finally did get pregnant. So let's talk about baby dancing, because it is important that when you get that peak, you are taking advantage of that. So my husband and I, we baby danced the day before we got our peak Clear Blue test, so the smiley face, and then the day of our peak, and then we skipped a day, and then the day after our peak. So we had like a 2-day peak. So it was like 3 times within that window, but honestly it only takes 1 time within that window, and it did the trick that month. So, and then the final thing, number 6, is going to be relaxing and having fun, which is so much easier said than done, because I know during this process it can be stressful and you are kind of on a time frame sometimes. Maybe you're getting a little older, or you just have this certain age gap in your mind that you'd really like to follow. But just remembering that it's in God's timing and that it will happen. You will have your baby at the perfect time, one way or another, that your family's meant to receive that baby into your lives. And I would recommend just doing things that make you happy, like taking a walk in the sunshine, or painting a picture, or talking with a friend that you enjoy talking to. Surrounding yourself with people that you enjoy and love, I think, is super valuable, just to keep that positive mindset and stay happy throughout this journey. And it really is, I think, why it happened so fast this time around is just because I wanted to have fun and kind of let go of the stress. And I really had the goal of like a surprise pregnancy, because it just felt so planned last time, because I wanted it so bad and was tracking everything. Then the first time around when I did get pregnant, it was kind of a surprise, like, oh, the month that I kind of didn't care that much, and it caught me off guard. And it was the same thing this second time around, and it only took 2 months. And we just feel so grateful and blessed, because I was kind of worried, like, oh, I know breastfeeding is just one more obstacle, it could make it harder to get pregnant. But I can tell you, whether your journey is 10 months or 2 months or years, it just feels so much better to try and be happy in the process anyway, because it is so hard and trying on your emotions. So try and give yourself some grace and give yourself a fair time period for this to happen, because it doesn't always happen right away. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I know that was so much information to take in, so I wanted to just give 3 key takeaways for you guys. So my 3 top things would be using the Clear Blue OPKs to help you identify your peak days so that you're baby dancing at the right time. And then my second takeaway would be looking at your luteal phase, and if it is short, doing something about it, maybe taking the supplements that I talked about in this video or doing your own research to help you get pregnant faster, because you have to have a 10 or longer luteal phase. And my last one is just try and have fun and trust in God's timing. So I hope this video helped you guys out. If there's any other questions that you guys have, I would love to answer them. Just leave them down in the comments. I know the trying to conceive journey can be so tough and stressful and hard and really take the fun out of sex with your partner, but I promise it's all worth it in the end. In one way or another, God will help it happen for your family. So just trust in that. And I'm sending you all the baby dust in the whole world. So sending you all the baby dust, and I look forward to seeing you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.